And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
That's why you called Israel. Is it real? No, it's not. How did we leave there black and come back white? How did we leave there black and come back white? How did we leave there black and come back white? How did we leave there black and come back white? Can somebody answer that for me? Can somebody answer that for me? Can somebody answer that for me? Can somebody answer that for me?
They say, go see the African History Museum. Why do they start when the boats came? Why don't they start with the drums?
When we was kings.
Oh, they don't want it, but we are kings. But the 400 years doesn't have to deal with slavery. It has to deal with the Bible. It has to deal with us being disobedient to God. Us as 12 tribes of Judah, as a member of the Hebrew people, we are still inside of our genocide. 50% of all black deaths a year is abortion.
I'm so glad you're here because you can bring great clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered because they went west?
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
I'm one of them.
I know that.
Because, you know, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Wow.
And DNA testing is a factor in all this now.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Want to say peace and blessings to everyone that is watching tonight. Want to say peace and blessings to you guys. Shalom Lach, Mash Paka. Want to say it and hope it's well with you guys, family. Want to just say it. Things is well with me, and I hope and pray that things are well with you. And just kind of wanted to get back into the flow of things because I know things have been hectic on my end. Haven't really had the opportunity to really get back to some foundational things because of being pulled in a number of different directions. So I wanted to start getting back to some of the foundational things dealing with the feast days, because I know many have sent me emails about the feast days. I want to get back into dealing with different religious belief systems like the Jehovah Witnesses, the Mormons. And so we're going to go ahead and get back into those things. And for my Patreon family, I'm definitely will get back on track with some of the Hebrew lessons. I have 3 more lessons. I modified the presentations to bring them up to date. So I will be uploading some videos for the Patreon family over the next couple of weeks. And I have some commentaries that are some in-depth commentaries that I put together that's going to really give you more of an in-depth understanding of key words, starting with the 119th book of Psalms. I did an entire commentary on each letter for that particular Psalms and really show you the importance of the law, statutes, and commandments. So I want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Also, I know some of you guys saw some of the stuff that I had to deal with this past week. And I'm going to tell you, family, you know, when you really start dealing with, you know, the deceptions that are happening right now, you'll be surprised on who and what will show their face. The Messiah said to his disciples during this great tribulation, he started with the times of sorrow, which was during their time. He made it clear that during their time, that you're going to have people that's going to rise up and say that they are anointed. You're going to have false prophets. And I did an in-depth study on that. And he didn't tell his disciples to pray for them. He didn't tell his disciples to have special meetings with them. He told his disciples, along with others, to stay away from them. Then when we transition over to the Great Tribulation, and we're going to be touching on that, some of that this weekend, starting with the 144,000, he didn't tell his disciples, he didn't give the warnings of these false anointed people and these people that are teaching contradictory lessons. And he didn't tell us to pray for them. He didn't tell us to meet with them and all kinds of stuff. He says, flee from them. We gotta, family, we gotta get out of this Christianity mindset of how we approach this delusion that's happening before us. Nehemiah, when the crafty counsel of Nehemiah, they tried a number of times to get him to come down from doing the work that he was called to do. Tried to have secret meetings with him just for the sole purpose of sabotaging him. But he didn't come down from the work that the Most High called him to do. And that was leading our people to rebuilding, to come together and address issues internally. So I'll say this before we get into the lesson for those that send me emails and saying, why am I entertaining this here, this nonsense, so to speak? Well, family, I'm gonna make a post here tomorrow, a screenshot, to show you just how serious it is out here. To show you just how serious things is. You'll be surprised on the demonic stuff that is circulating around our people. You know, social media is just really, making it harder and harder for our people to that remnant to make it. The scripture says that the elect is going to barely make it. And I can see why. We'll fall for every wind of doctrine. So far as me calling out that pastor, no apologies. No apologies. No apologies. No regrets. Why? Because even if it's one person that do not get caught up in that delusion, that's well, it's all well within my soul. I'm a watchman. So I'm going to do what a watchman is supposed to do, and that is call out foolishness no matter what it is. Call out this deception is trying to trip up our people. So I want to make this clear for the handful of people that uh, say or posted saying that, hey, why am I entertaining this? If it wasn't important, the Messiah would not have repeatedly warned his disciples about these things. So with that being said, family, I want to start off by thanking our sister, Brew Queen. Want to really thank you for the gift tonight, family. Let's show some love to Brew Queen Israel. Let's show some love to her. Thank you, sister, for the contribution here. Really appreciate you for entrusting this platform, entrusting to sow on good ground. I really appreciate you, the love and support and family. Again, I put in a lot of work, not just at a 9 to 5 and taking care of my family. I put in a lot of work, late night hours, studying and studying and studying and praying, and just to make sure that I'm sharp to be able to catch a lot of these delusions. And I just pray that we just grab hold of these things. You got other, and I'm not just saying me, it's others that are putting in a lot of work to make sure that you guys are sharp with your discernment, so you won't fall for this stuff that's popping up right now. You'd be surprised some of the stuff I get tagged in and stuff come across my timeline, things come in my email. I'm like, what in the world is going on with these people? But anyway, family, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into it. Let's start off by giving some shout outs, and then we'll get into the lesson. I want to say peace and blessings to Mr. The Original Old School. Want to say peace and blessings to you, Ami Yakida, excuse me. I want to say peace and blessings to you, Keith Wilson, my brother. Want to say peace and blessings to you. Appreciate the love and support. Jason Camfor, want to say peace and blessings to you. I want to say shalom to you. Stay on Fire Ministries. Want to say shalom to you. Joy, Sister Joy, want to say peace and blessings. Shalom to you. Thank you for holding things down. Really appreciate the moderation. My Sister Carol, really appreciate you, sis. Want to say peace and blessings to you. Karima Lyricist, want to say shalom to you. Who else do we have here? Angela Bowden, want to say peace and blessings to you. CB, peace and blessings to you. Stacy Pullum, peace and blessings to you. We're going to get as many as we can because I know more people are starting to jump in here. Aniyeki, I want to say peace and blessings to you as well. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you for being one of the moderators here. Thank you for really holding it down. Appreciate you. Inspired Identity. Want to say shalom to you. Appreciate you, sis. Great title, Inspired Identity. Dwayne Butler, want to say peace and blessings to you. Shalom to you as well. Who else do we have here? Let's see here. Jay Highstyle, my buddy Jay Highstyle, want to say peace and blessings to you. Really appreciate you and the love and support from you. Sharon Glover, peace and blessings to you, sis. Thank you for the love and support. Trayvon Chapman, want to say Shabbat Shalom to you as well. Who else do we have here? Chris Curry, want to say Shalom Mash Paka. And it's well with me, family. It's well with me. That's what Shalom, and some of you guys would say Shalom. It simply is a salutation, asking the question, is it well? Here he has it spelled Mishpaka. The ancient pronunciation is Mash Paka, which means family. So it is well, family. Thank you. Appreciate you, Chris Curry. Let's see here. Soldier Sarak, want to say peace and blessings to you. Who else do we have here? Monica Dixon, want to say peace and blessings to you. Thank you for the love and support, sister. T-Main, Ya son, want to say peace and blessings to you. Who else do we have? Barbara Jones, peace and blessings to you. Want to say shalom to you. Let's see who else. The Journey, want to say peace and blessings. Want to say good evening to you as well. Appreciate the love and support. Brother Ernest Higgs, really appreciate you. Thank you for the love and support. Peace and blessings to you. Blessed and highly favored. That's right. Made me think about when I was in Kojic. Blessed and highly favored. On my way to heaven and enjoying the trip. Right. Anyway, having a little Kojic flashback there, you know. But really appreciate the love and support. Let's see here. Designed by Daphne. Want to say peace and blessings to you. Let's see who else do we have it. Just Reese. Let's say peace and blessings to you. Sister Yvette Rivera. Want to say peace and blessings to you. I think we got through most of this list here. I think we got through it. Let's see here. Any others that I may have missed? Israelite Israelite wife Desiree. I want to say peace and blessings to you. And I think we got through the list here, family. And if I did not catch you in the initial shout outs, like the old school would say, do not charge it to my heart, charge it to my head, not my heart, family. So appreciate you guys. So let's go to get into the lesson here. And for those that want to reach out to me, and I got to get caught up with my emails. I'm behind on my emails. My information, my contact information is in the banner below. And so feel free to reach out to me offline, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. So really appreciate you guys again. So we're going to go ahead and get into the lesson, right? And so I want to start off by giving a warning here and expose something to you guys, right? And we're going to deal with Rosh Hashanah, right? Rosh Hashanah. How many of you guys have heard of Rosh Hashanah? If you heard of Rosh Hashanah, type 1. If you heard about Rosh Hashanah, type 1. And if you haven't, type 2, right? And I want to say peace and blessings to my cousin, Dr. Sean Carr. And cuz, reach out to me because my phone got wiped out. So reach out to me. I don't have your number in my phone, so I had to get me a new phone and everything, and they couldn't retrieve my contact. So text me so that way I can reach out to you. Been wanting to call you, get caught up. I know we haven't talked in a little while, but feel free to text me your updated number. All right. So love you, cuz. So looking here, looks like most of you guys have heard of Rosh Hashanah. All right. So I'm looking here, just some of the answers here. Sister Carol, 1. Sister Nitz, more and more, 1. Chris Matthews, 1. Asa Isha, 1. Inspired Identity, 1. Looks like most of, if we had to really take us, count the votes and really put a percentage on those that have heard of it and heard those who haven't, I would say looks like it's about 85, 15%, closer to a 90%. Up next, 1. Designed by Daphne, 1. Let's see, Just Reese, Mr. Original, Ernest Higgs, my brother Sean Thomas. I want to say peace and blessings to you. Appreciate you, brother. Let's connect this weekend. So everyone is one that I'm seeing here. This Journey, Queens Israel, and family. Let's show some love to Dr. Olivia Thompson Green. I want to say peace and blessings to you. Let's show some love to our sister here. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you and the encouraging words that you put inside the post. Let's see who else that we have here. So far, looks like it's unanimous here. Josiah Ben Yehuda. So far, it looks like everyone has heard Rosh Hashanah, right? Angela Bowden, 2. Trayvon Chapman, 2. So we have a few tools here that haven't heard of it. CB, likewise. So I'm going to give you proper clarity here because there's a lot of misunderstanding about Rosh Hashanah, right? And I'm going to break down what Rosh Hashanah really is, right? Because many of us don't even realize that many of us have jumped out of the frying pan of Christianity and Catholicism and jumped right smack into the fire of Judaism, right? And I'm going to explain why I say that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. It reads, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High and wear out the saints." Now, let me make it clear. And I am going to have to pull one of my old teachings out uh, called Update Evangelism. And I really go into details about Judaism and all, and really go into this word saint, right? In the ancient Hebrew, you will not see you will not see this word here. Of course, you'll see quadash, right? So that means holy, right? Not saints. This word saints is a word that was created to point directly to, specifically to the Catholic Church, right? Those that they have deemed to be saints, right? In the Catholic Church, to become or achieve sainthood, right, is something that you achieve when you die. According to them, you have to have at least one confirmed miracle. Just that alone, right? To become a saint, to be a candidate for sainthood. They are saying that they have the authority to determine who's holy after they die. Going back to what I shared about Pope Boniface, who supposedly had power over the temporal and spiritual realms, the natural and the spiritual realms, right? Life and death, right? In the land of the living and after you die. So saints, this is a word of confusion. And this will be one of the words that we go over to update the series Words of Confusion. So really, this word saints here is dealing with the holy people, the Israelites of the Most High, not used interchangeably or along with that generic word church, because we are under this belief because of Christianity and Catholicism that church, right, means the people. No, that's incorrect. The word church is not a translation. It's a transliteration of a transliteration. That the Catholics, right, that in the third or actually the fourth centuries, when they began to use this word, that is a Celtic word that described its place of worship. But anyway, we'll delve into that, not tonight though. So it says, "And shall wear out the holy people," that's the Israelites of the Most High, "and to think to change times and laws." And family, this is one of the things, especially in this awakening. You have a lot of people, not most, but you have a handful of people that focuses on strictly the Shabbat. This is not the only times and laws that they've changed. And we're not just dealing with the Shabbat of the days that we come together to worship according to Scripture. There's other things that have been changed, right? Like the dietary laws that this beast, right? The disciples of this beast, this system of man, by way of religion, right, are teaching that we don't have to abide by the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what we're dealing with today. That's this prophecy right here. So it's not just referring to the Shabbat, right? The traditional Shabbat. This is dealing with times such as the feast days and even creating feast days. So let me read it again. "And he shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the holy people of the Most High and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times." So the Hebrew definition of wear out, let's see what it means, right? We see here it says bala, which means to fail, to wear out, decay, consume, use up completely. So that's what it means, to make you good for nothing. And I'm sure all of us can relate to it, to where so you just had one of those days or one of those weeks, you get pulled from every which way. You're so worn out because you're dealing with people and their situations. You're dealing with things at your job. You're dealing with your family. You're being pulled every which way. And by the time you get time to lay down and rest, you are completely worn out. Have you ever been in a position to where as though you got so worn out that you were literally good for nothing? In other words, you couldn't function. Why? Because you're so worn out that you're irritable. That's what this scripture is saying when it says wear out, to make us to the point that we're good for nothing, to use us up completely. And when you see decay, that's not something that happens with a flip of a switch. That is over time, right? To fail, to wear us out with the purpose of what? Failing, right? To be used up completely, to have nothing left inside the tank to do anything, to keep you from being productive. Bala, right? So what is Rosh Hashanah? What is Rosh Hashanah? What is Rosh Hashanah? We're going to touch on this. Right, I'm gonna break this down. It's very simple, family, and I'm going to share with you the delusion with Rosh Hashanah. I want to show you the delusion behind Rosh Hashanah. This is not a feast day. This is not a holy day. Moses didn't celebrate this day. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you why. Right, this letter right here. This is the ancient Hebrew. This is the Rosh. In the Israeli language is pronounced Rosh, right? And this is it over on the side here. I don't have the connector here, but it's Rosh, right? And then when we see over here, we see that it means head, top, rank, beginning. Then we see the numerical value is 200. So again, Rosh in the Israeli language is Resh, and it means head, right? Top, rank. And remember, beginning. All right. So head, and this looks like a head with an afro, right? So this is the pictograph. So remember, make a note of this letter. Rosh in the Israeli language is the Resh, okay? And it means head, top, rank, beginning. Now, this is another ancient Hebrew word, and it's pronounced Shanna. Now, I'm going to tell you what Shanna is, but let's start with each letter to break down each letter. See, when you understand ancient Hebrew, right, it's not just all about the primitive root word, in other words, the original word, but you have to go all the way down to the primitive letter, the root letter, because in ancient Hebrew, every letter has meaning. So this word that we see here is pronounced Shanna. So what does this mean? Let's start with the first letter, which means teeth, tool, right? The pictograph, it looked like teeth, right? So teeth, tool. The next letter is the non, which means to sprout, seed, right? Perpetual, right? Which means ongoing, continue, continuous. So seed, sprout, continue, perpetual. That's what the non means. Let me say it one more time. Seed, continue, perpetual. The pictograph looks like a seed. So again, Shana, right? Starting with the shan means teeth. It means tool. The second letter, the non, which means seed. It means continue. It means perpetual, right? And you can also see some of the influences that the ancient letters have on the Greek letters as well as the English letters. The English letters of today. All right. And then we have, because this looks like the W, but it also, if you turn it at certain angles, could look like the S. Doesn't this look like the N? And this looks like the E, or it can look like the F, right? If you take this off here and reverse it, it looks like the E, the letter E, right? You take one of these off, the middle one off, and switch it around, it looks like the F. All right. So this letter means reveal, uncover, open. So teeth, tool, seed, continue, perpetual, reveal, uncover, open. This Hebrew word that you see here is year, right? Year. Year. That's what this word here is, year. So let's break down the history of Rosh Hashanah, right? Beginning, ha is one of the prefixes, right, that you'll learn in ancient Hebrew that transliterates to the or the. Shanna, year. So beginning the year. Beginning the year. How are we celebrating the beginning of the year during this time? How is it possible that we're celebrating the new year at this time? Let's see what this article have to say. This is from history.com. It says Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. And family, this is, as I keep saying this continuously, we have to listen with intelligence. Listen with intelligence, family, right? Shemai or Shemai. Listen with intelligence. Let me say it one more time. Listen with intelligence. Okay? So let's break this down. Because even reading this article, you'll see there's some things that we can, that's not correct. And I'm going to show you. But it says here, Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, is one of Judaism's holiest days. See, we could get into this word Jew. We could get into this word Judaism. When did the word Jew become synonymous to all of Israel? That's a whole nother discussion. So it says here, the Jewish New Year, that should be a red flag, just that in itself. The Jewish New Year. But then again, it does say inside the encyclopedia, the Jewish almanac, right? 1980, that we should not use the word Jew, call the modern Jews ancient Israelites and vice versa. So the Jewish New Year is one of Judaism's holiest days, meaning head of the year or first of the year, like we just broke down. Rosh Shanna. We just didn't put the ha there, which is the prefix for the or the. So remember, Rosh or Resh means head. It means beginning. It means rank, protocol, right? Year, Shana, beginning, right? Perpetual. But anyway, so we see here, it says again, the Jewish New Year is one of Judaism's holiest days, meaning head of the year or first of the year. The festival begins on the first day of Tishrei or Tishrei, the seventh month of the Hebrew calendar, which falls during September or October. Rosh Hashanah commemorates the creation of the world and marks the beginning of the days of awe. So, it commemorates the creation of the world. But where's the biblical connection to this? But commemorates the creation of the world and marks the beginning of the days of awe, a 10-day period of introspection and repentance that culminates in the Yom Kippur holiday, also known as the Day of Atonement. This is not even in the scriptures, family. But anyway, as far as this days of awe. But anyway, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are the two high holy days. Notice what it says here. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are the two high holy days in the Jewish religion. And when we go down to the history and significance of Rosh Hashanah, it'll tell you this. Rosh Hashanah is not mentioned in the Torah. Notice what it says. Rosh Hashanah is not mentioned in the Torah, Judaism's founding religious text, and appears under different names in the Bible, though the holiday was likely established by the 6th century BC. See that when you see likely words like this right here, likely, this is assumptions. This is assumptions, opinions. This is not concrete information. Though the holiday was likely, don't know, well established by the 6th century BC, the phrase Rosh Hashanah shows. Well, I didn't have the rest of it in here. So I'm gonna have to put the entire article here so that way you guys can see the entire article. But the link is below here. Matter of fact, let me copy the link over into the chat so that way you guys can go to this at your leisure. You can actually follow these links here. So let me copy this link over so that way you guys can make a note of this. Right? Let me bring this over. All right, that's the article that I'm reading from. Okay, so let's get back to it. All right, so again, one thing I want you to highlight, it says Rosh Hashanah is not mentioned in the Torah. Right, so just so that way you understand, there's no Rosh Hashanah in terms of a holiday celebration, a New Year's celebration, but Rosh Hashanah is in the scriptures, but it's not under these circumstances here. It's not being celebrated as you see here. I'm going to show you. Because they said in this article, it's not mentioned in Torah. And I believe that they're referring to the holiday, but I can show you the phrase, right? The words Rosh Hashanah, right? Beginning the year or beginning year or new year. Let me show you here. And it also says it appears under different names in the Bible, right? So let's highlight this article here, and then I'm going to prove to you that it's in scripture. This is coming from timesofisrael.com, right? This is Israel Drazen, who gives even more information on Rosh Hashanah. And notice what it says. Rosh Hashanah is not a biblical holiday. Let me say this again. It says Rosh Hashanah is not a biblical holiday. So no matter what someone tell you to try to celebrate this holiday, supposed holiday, this is not a biblical holiday. Now, we could sit up here and talk about Christianity, about Christmas, about Easter, because you know it's going to come around just like clockwork. Whenever these holidays come around, Thanksgiving, guess what? We're quick to talk about that. But what about this right here that I'm sharing with you? We don't want to call out these things. We'll fight tooth and nail to try to prove that these things are biblical, which they are not. We still see creating holidays, creating Shabbats. The Most High is the one that created the Shabbat, right? The very first man-made day of rest was done by Adam because he decided to take an untimely Shabbat, day of rest, but it wasn't about the Most High. It was all about him, and did not meet up with the Most High. So that is the first time you see recorded in the scriptures someone taking time off, a man-made time off, a man-made day of rest. It was there from the very beginning. It started with Adam, because Adam listened to or entertained conversations, and he basically neglected his responsibilities. But anyway, let's go to break this down here. Rosh Hashanah is not a biblical holiday. Notice what it says. Have you ever wondered why Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are not highlighted in the Torah as pilgrimage holidays, as Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot are? This is because neither Rosh Hashanah nor Yom Kippur are biblical holidays. Both replace biblical holidays and are notably different from the holidays they replace. The biblical holiday Yom Teruah, which was replaced by Rosh Hashanah, had a totally different purpose than Rosh Hashanah, which focuses on the onset of a new year, repentance, and commitment to live the next year. Right? So let's go back to the source, or let's go to another source, right? This is coming from Haaretz, right? Which is a Jewish publication. And notice what it says here. Rosh Hashanah wasn't always the new year. Here's the Jewish holidays history by Elon Gilad, September 5th, 2021. Let's see what it says. It says Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year, the day the Hebrew calendar begins. But that wasn't always the case. In fact, the ancient Hebrews probably had no concept of when the year started at all. And that's completely incorrect. Right? This portion right here saying that the ancient Hebrews had no concept of when the year started at all. This is completely incorrect. But anyway, nor did they give the months names. And now that's key. See, all these different names that we see for the months, Moses never used these names. And if someone say Abib is not a name of a month. It's the name of the season. Moses always referred to the days of the week, numbers. With the exception of the Shabbat, he referred to the months as the first of the first month, the second month, the 12th month. He always used numbers, and this is not getting into numerology like some would take that and run with it. No, that's not the case, right? So numbers, right, does not mean numerology, right? Numbers by Madabar, right, means in the wilderness. It means in the wilderness. Numbers it's a transliteration, right? And that's a whole nother topic to discuss. How did that come about? So again, right? Let's go back here, right? When we read here, in fact, the ancient Hebrews probably had no concept of when the year started at all. Incorrect. Nor did they give the months names, which that is correct. Do you know, some of you guys don't even understand that on the calendar, the Jewish calendar per se, you have the word Tammuz, which is celebrated in July. You have women weeping for Tammuz, the very thing we see that Israel's getting in trouble for in the vision that the Most High revealed to Ezekiel in Ezekiel chapter 8, women weeping for Tammuz. And Tammuz is one of the names of the calendar. And it's a period of mourning and weep. Anyway, women weeping. I'll share that when I do the response on how to debunk fraternities and sororities, because I have all that information in that presentation. All right. So again, it says, nor did they give the months names. Okay. On the other hand, the first of Tishrei, celebrated as Rosh Hashanah nowadays, is mentioned as a holiday, albeit, and think about what I just shared with you, Daniel chapter 7, verse 24 and verse 25, changing times and laws. We see it right here. Albeit a very minor one, it is in no way a celebration of the new year. Quite contrary, Leviticus 23, chapter 23, verse 24 says regarding the first day of Tishrei, it says, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Shabbat. In other words, a day of rest, a memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation. The Bible does not list any special practices for the holiday beyond blowing the trumpets and sacrificing some animals, though fewer than were sacrificed on the two major holidays, Passover and Sukkot. No specific reason is given for the blowing of the trumpets, nor are we told what we are supposed to remember. All right. We got a lot to cover here, family, but we're not going to cover it all in this part. I just want to give you clarity on Rosh Hashanah because that is coming up according to this Jewish calendar. But let's go to Ezekiel chapter 40 because I want to show you something. I'm going to show you that Rosh Hashanah is in the scripture, but it's not what many are celebrating. It's not celebrated as being the seventh month, being the new year. It's not what has been made out of it in today, that the time that we live in. So if we go to Ezekiel chapter 40, verse 1, right? Now you see in the ancient right here, you see just this right here, Ba Ra'ash Ha-Shana, right? Just this right here, Ra'ash Ha-Shana. Doesn't that sound familiar? Ra'ah, or if I drop one of the A's, it'd be Rosh Ha-Shana. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound just like Rosh Ha-Shana, pronounced in the proper ancient Hebrew, right? Ra'ash or Rosh Ha-Shana, right? Remember, this is what? The beginning or the head, right? Top, rank, protocol. But let's just go with the beginning, right? The beginning, the year, Shana. This is the Hebrew word for year. All right. And we see it here in the 5 and 20th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year. This is not dealing with the seventh month, right? This is not dealing with the seventh month. We're dealing with the first month, right? The beginning of the year, that new moon. In the 5 and 20th year of our captivity, in the beginning, Ra'ash of the year, Shana, in the 10th day of the month. So we're dealing with the 10th day. We're getting close to what feast day? We're getting close to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We're getting closer to the Passover, which is on the 14th of that month, the first month. So it says it in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year, after the city was smitten, in the self same day, the hand of Yahweh was upon me and brought me thither. So, family, see the confusion here? And I'm not sure if you guys asked that question. Why are we celebrating the New Year's in the seventh month versus what Israel's New Year really is? The Egyptians, the Romans, they all celebrated New Year's during what is called the spring equinox. Israel's New Year was the first new moon after the spring equinox. That's Israel's new first day of the year. Exodus chapter 12, when the Most High tells Israel, this day shall be a new year, the beginning of the, it'll be a new month, it'll be a new year to you. It didn't say the seventh month. Israel was not celebrating the seventh month as the first month. See, this is how we get confused. This is why we have so much confusion, family. Many of our brothers and sisters, many have jumped out of the frying pan of Christianity and jumping smack into the fire of Judaism. And of course, other stuff that's contradictory to the holy text. So notice this here, right? You see, Rosh Hashanah is in the scripture, but it's not referring to the seventh month. It's actually referring to the very first month of the year. This is a few days before the Passover. Just a few days before the Passover. This is around the time The 10th day, when Israel would select the lamb, right? The very first Hebrew calendar, right? The Passover fell right in the middle of the week. What many will refer to as a Wednesday, the 4th day of the week, hump day, right? So the 10th day was usually on that Shabbat, or at least for that first year, that first Hebrew calendar. So this is when, this 10th day is when they would select the lamb. But anyway, we got so much to go over, not tonight. When we start getting back to some of this foundational teaching for many of you guys that are coming into this truth for the first time, and you just want to get some foundational teaching so that way you know what's right and you know what's wrong, and that you don't end up repeating history. Because if you don't know history, 9 times out of 10, you're going to repeat it. All right. So the first Hebrew calendar month, right? Let's see what it says. See, now you see this word Pasach, right? This is dealing with the Passover, but the first Hebrew calendar month, right? This is when I did the Hebrew calendar. This is the first month, right? This is the first month. This is exactly how the days fell, right? And I encourage you guys, and we may do it again. I haven't done it in a while, but the video's there when I actually recreated the Hebrew calendar based off of the scriptures and a couple of secondary and third party sources. But we were able, not we, but I was able through the Holy Spirit, through studying, the Most High showed me that, hey, we have the information in front of us to recreate the new year. If you study the Torah, and I'm not dealing with all the other stuff outside of Torah, the first 5 books, if you just start right there, you will not find a month that's more than 30 days. You will not find a month that's less than 30 days. You will not find a week that's more than 7 days. You will not find a week that's less than 7 days. The challenge was not the 7-day cycle. The challenge is, and continue to be for many, is when to honor the feast days. Right? The Gregorian calendar did not change the days of the week in terms of the 7-day cycle. And even if we should get out of whack, the Most High has given us natural signs to be able to reset ourselves, to get right back in alignment, because we already know when the first new moon after the spring equinox would, hey, that's the first. Okay, that's the first day of the new year. Okay, resync. It's not that complicated, family. We can honor the Shabbat, because some would say, oh, we never know what day of the week it could be. No, that is not correct. Right? And now I see someone referring to the Enoch calendar, and I'm going to show you that the Enoch calendar is not correct. The original calendar, right, was 360 days. There was no additional days in the original calendar. You would not find, in order to get 364 days, you have to, one of the months have to have an extra day. Right? I know many would go off the Enoch calendar. No, there was not 364 days in the original calendar. You will not find, as I pointed out, you will not find a single day that's less than 30 days, or a single month that's less than 30 days. You will not find a single month that's more than 30 days. Exactly, Israelite wife, Desiree. There was no leap years in the original calendar. Israel's original calendar was 360-day years, 30-day months, 7 days, 7-day weeks, 24 hours in a day. All right. Well, I can prove to you that's not true. That's not, there was never an 8-day week prior to that. But we're not going to get into all that right now, because I don't want to get sidetracked with the conversation. But I encourage you, Shakira, if you want, look at my lesson that I did on this, and I gave nothing but sources. Israel was not celebrating an 8-day week. Show me in Torah that there's an 8-day week. Show me on the 8th day. We have to go with that. We cannot go with anything beyond that. And for me, as I teach our assembly, anything that goes outside of the holy text is not scripture. All right, Shakira, I'm going to say it one more time. We're not going to get sidetracked, but I encourage you to look at the lesson. Show me a 31 day. Don't just type up 31 days inside a chat. Show me in the holy text where there's a month that says 31 days. Show me in the text. Show me in Torah, the foundational 5. And family, this is why I'm doing this here. This is why I'm doing this here. All right, because there's a lot of information, and don't get me wrong, right? When we start listening or reading these different books, we have different different terms that we come up with, and different things that can literally contradict Torah. I'm not, and again, I'm not dealing with no Julian calendar. I'm dealing with the hardcore core facts. If we go off of Torah, and I'll just put the challenge out there. If someone can literally show me in Torah, I don't want to deal with books that was written centuries after Moses. I don't want to deal with those things. I want to go to the original Torah. Show me where you see 30 any months beyond 30 days. Any months beyond 30 days, less than 30 days. And I can tell you, you're not going to find it. And I encourage you guys, it's inside the foundational playlist, part 1 and part 2, dealing with the resurrection. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it, family. Let's get into the remainder of this lesson here. And like I said, family, we're not trying to debate here, nothing like that, but we just have to give clarity. All right. You know what? See, family, let me put her in timeout, because this is where when we start getting into someone that's not listening, she's saying you apply Torah to pagan calendars. So let me put her in timeout, because this is where you start getting when people know they're wrong, they start getting disrespectful, right? So let me show you what's on your screen. What I did was I created the first month recreated, right? This is how it actually fell. The new moon. This is me starting with the Shabbats, and I'm not going to explain it here, but this is the actual first calendar. All right. So we'll deal with this here. All right. And we'll deal with I can't think of the term that many go off of, the lunar calendar, right? We'll deal with that. And I can pick apart the lunar calendar, how many use the lunar calendar. But we'll deal with that, but not tonight, because we're getting sidetracked. Let's stay on topic. And when you guys want to when I deal with the lunar calendar, then you guys can present whatever you want to present. All right. So let's go ahead and deal with what we have in front of us. What you see here, family, is the very first month of the Hebrew calendar from the scriptures. And if you want to see how I reconstructed this calendar, go to the lesson that I did. And let me see if I can pull it up here. Go there and watch the lesson. And I'm going to say this again, family. Don't watch the lesson from an angle that you're just trying to argue and debunk. Watch the lesson, the full lessons, before you start trying to say what's right and what's wrong. Watch the lesson, then form your opinion. Listen to the fullness before you come up with any conclusions. See, many of us got this tendency where look at a topic and start making comments, without actually listening to the full lesson itself. So let me pull up this real quick, and we'll get back on target, because I don't want to get sidetracked with any side conversations. So I'm going to post a link inside the comment section, and I encourage you guys to watch this lesson. It's 2 parts to it. So let me start with part 1. I'm gonna put part 1 there, but there's 3 parts to this, and I literally explain and I walk you through with sources, So not my opinion. I'm just giving you straight sources. It's up to you to accept it or reject it, but I'm giving you sources. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, there we have it. All right, there we have it. There we have it. And see, this is when you get into the term movable feast days, right? But we'll touch on that another time. When I say movable, because again, calendar adjusts based upon the new year. Anyway, we'll touch on that, but not tonight. So again, family, I'll put the link inside the comment section. And if you disagree, that's fine. But don't sit here and try to say I'm basing something off a pagan calendar, because I'm not, because I'm going to show you here. Right? This is the original, very first month that I can stand with confidence and say this is the very first month that of Israel's calendar. This is the very first month. The order when the first day fell on, that new moon fell on, I can say emphatically this is the first day of Israel's calendar month according to Torah. And these are the Shabbats. I can say that emphatically, that the first calendar month, the Passover fell in the middle of the week. Day of lynching, right? Hamashayak. I could prove that as well. Middle of the week. This right here be the day of unleavened bread. Okay. And like what I pointed out, the 10th, right? This is where they would select the lamb. All right. But that's another discussion. All right. As we see, first day of unleavened bread. Again, they're secure the land. Right now, last year when we celebrated what's that? The Day of Atonement. When we celebrated the feast days, then, far as the Feast of Tabernacle, right? This is how we were able to, based off of the Hebrew calendar and looking at it from the Gregorian calendar, this is how we were able to pinpoint those days. Right? Because again, last year, 2021, notice what we see here, right? Still showing you the calendar year, Hebrew calendar year based off of last year, right? Because again, movable feast days. This is when we get into the movable days, because the 15th didn't always fall in the middle of the month. That's a whole nother discussion. But again, let me just show you here, right? This is the Hebrew calendar, ancient Hebrew calendar month for last year, right? The first month, right? So this is getting into all that. This is me laying out those actual days. When we go back to it, I'm going to show you some additional things to that month. All right. So hold that thought. We'll get back to it, because I showed you the ancient, but then I'm going to show you how we mapped out that along with what we see the Gregorian calendar. And I'm going to show you that when we circle back to that shortly. But let me show you how important the 7th month is. Genesis chapter 8, verse 3 and 4. This is how important the 7th month is. And the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the water were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. Right? So, and the ark rested, right? And the ark rested. That's the key, right? The Hebrew word for rested in that text is nak, right? The Hebrew definition of rested. Let's see what rested means. So again, we got the ark resting in the 7th month. Rest, right? Nak or nawak. It means to rest, settle down, to dwell, stay, right? Give comfort, cease, let. Notice this here, let down, quiet, be quiet, remain, set down, make quiet. So the ark settled down, right? And giving you proper clarity, the ark settled down. In other words, was given comfort, It was made to be quiet. It rested, right? That's where you see the word knock. Right? Going back here, this is our calendar here. This is from last year, the 7th month. Notice here, right? This is why I want to point this out, family. Notice how you see this calendar laid out. This is the ancient Hebrew calendar of the 7th month from last year. But notice what I put here. Begin sunset of October 8th. So on the Gregorian calendar, it says that beginning on October 8th at sunset, right? Because the Shabbat is from evening to evening. So I want to make this clear, family. See, that's why I say I really put a lot of time and effort to this. This is not me trying to line up with pagan calendars and all of that, like the sister falsely accused me of doing. This is the ancient Hebrew calendar, right? Let me go back here. Let me pull it back up. Oops. Gotta check my animation. This is the ancient Hebrew calendar from last year. And now what I highlighted is, even though this is the first day of the month for Israel last year, the 7th month, but according to the Gregorian calendar, it would have fell on the 9th, beginning at the 8th day of the October 8th of the Gregorian calendar. The ark rested on the 17th day, but according to the Gregorian calendar, last year it would have been October 24th. So, family, that's why I want to give clarity here. All right. Let me see here. Oh, my apologies. Oh, come on. I didn't know. I just took a glance and saw Shakir. I just don't have tolerance for disrespect. Right. So I just don't have tolerance for disrespect. You know what I mean? I didn't know that just glaring at, I saw Shakir. I thought I saw Shakira. And my apologies for the person referring to him as a female, but it wasn't done intentionally. I just glanced at it, but I just don't have time to deal with disrespect. So, family, that's why I wanted to make sure that we just listen to what, just listen to the fullness of the matter before making comments, because this is where, unfortunately, it gets hard to teach in this awakening, because we won't share. We'll give others more respect than what we give our own brothers and sisters within this awakening, trying to teach this truth. We wouldn't do this if we was sitting before a professor. We wouldn't be having all kinds of side conversations there. We only do this when we do the dealing with each other. That's why I say listen to the entire lesson, then form an opinion. Don't make assumptions and you haven't even listened to the lesson. Already saying, like that brother said, that I was using, trying to line the holy days up with the pagan holidays. Pagan calendar, not even paying attention to what I have on the screen before I even got to this portion of where we are right now. So this is why we gotta, this is why, family, even Dr. Claude Anderson expressed his frustration of dealing with our people. He sacrificed for our people for 50 years, trying to wake our people up, and said he tired of it. He not doing it anymore. He felt like it's a waste of time because of stuff like this, that we can't even just say, let's listen to it through its entirety. We wouldn't even do that to the Ashkenazis. Many talk about the Ashkenazis, but do you see any of our brothers and sisters going up to their channels, interrupting their lessons like this? We don't see that. I don't even see, because I peep out some of those Ashkenazi channels, and I don't see nobody up in there talking about them, interrupting their channels, contesting them. Anyway, let's get back into it, family. So this is why I was trying to tell the brother to watch the presentation, right? As you can see, I have the ancient Hebrew calendar right in the background, but I'm actually explaining what day, according to the Gregorian calendar, that this first day of the month, with the first day of this 7th month, fell on last year, right? And then when we see here, when it says the ark rested on the 17th day, right? That was October 24th on the Gregorian calendar last year. Okay, so this is the part that we have to learn. Israel had to learn this lesson, right? Because we saw knock, right, which transliterates, right, to be quiet, but also it means settle, right? That's what that word really means, settle. Here's another word, charash. Let me say it again, charash. I'm saying it from the ancient Hebrew pronunciation. This word rather means be quiet. Let me prove it to you. Here's the definition. Charash. It says to scratch, to be silent, to let alone, to be deaf, cease, be deaf, be quiet, keep silent, speak not a word, be still, hold tongue. Come on, family. I'm going to give you proper clarity to this because we as a people, we the people of the book, because we have a problem with being quiet. Sometimes we just talk too much. Like that old Run DMC song, you talk too much. How come you never shut up? You talk about people you don't even know. You talk about places you never go. Sometimes we just talk too much. We don't listen. Shammai, Israel, or Shammai, Yisrael, Shamma'ar, Yashara'al from an ancient Hebraic perspective, means listen with intelligence. That's Deuteronomy chapter 6. So this word charash means be quiet, speak not a word, be still, hold tongue. Now let's put it in this proper perspective. Genesis chapter 8, verse 3 and 4. Notice what this says here, right? And Moses, actually, this is not Genesis, this is Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14. You guys know I quote this at the conclusion of every lesson. Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, Yara or Yara'ah, stand still, Yatazab or Yatzab, and see Ra'ah, the salvation, Yashawayah, of Yahweh, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. But notice this next part. Yahweh shall fight for you. Lakam, for you, fight. Lakam, for you. And ye shall what? Hold your peace. In other words, be quiet. It doesn't say shalom in the Israeli pronunciation of it. It will be shalom. It says hold your peace. Why? Because Israel was complaining. Israel was complaining. Israel witnessed the miraculous things of the Most High. They saw that they witnessed the judgment that was inflicted on Egypt, and how they were covered and kept from this judgment. They witnessed these 10 miraculous plagues, and then they were taken out of Egypt, delivered out of Egypt. Their first challenge, what did they do? Their first challenge, they complained. They wanted to go back to Egypt. So Moses had to encourage Israel through the Most High, through Moses, encouraged Israel and gave him these words to tell the children of Israel. Let's go back here. Let's say it with authority, right? Read it with authority. This is some of the things you have to say to yourself this is why I use the scripture over and over again. Exodus 14, verse 13 and 14. And Moses said unto the people, encourage yourself, family, fear ye not, stand still. See the salvation of Yahweh. See how he moves. See how he operates, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians, this siege that you're dealing with, this siege of your mind, because you're no longer in Egypt, but your mind is still under siege to the Egyptians, whom ye have seen today. Ye shall see them again no more forever. In other words, the Egyptians still existed, but they no longer had power over Israel. Verse 14, Yahweh shall fight. Yahweh, he exists. That's what Yahweh means. It means he exists. He exists. Yahweh, he exists, shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. In other words, family, be quiet. Family, we got to learn how to be quiet. We talk too much. So the power of peace be still. Now, I want you guys take a screenshot of this. Include this inside your prayer. Karash knock. That is the phrase. Those are the two Hebrew words that means or transliterates to peace be still. Be quiet, stay calm. Be quiet, be calm. Family, if we learn how to curb our mouth when we're dealing with situations, we can prevent the situation from getting worse. Most of us make situations worse than what it really is. Why? Because we don't listen. We don't listen. That's why James chapter 1, it says, if a man can't bridle his tongue, his commitment is useless. That's why we have to make sure that if we want to prove that we're committed, start by showing that you can bridle your tongue. So want to say peace and blessings to Malaka Bat Yah, to the remnant. Want to thank you for the gift tonight, my sister, holding it down up in New York. Really appreciate it. Got to get you back on here. I know that you know the Most High has promoted you, opened up some doors for you. But whenever you get a chance and we have this live and I drop the link, come on in. Want you to come on in. Your family here. Really appreciate you. And family, let's show some love for her for the blessing that she has given us tonight. All right. All right. So here we go. Let me see. I see a question here. It's there where, okay. So if y'all can't tell me which video focuses on the information. All right. I'll say this, my brother. Well, actually, I'm just going to, and if, you know, I don't want to disrespect you because I don't, I see an icon, so I don't want to disrespect you, but Lion Proclamation Media. So I'll just say, well, I don't want to disrespect you by saying that because sometimes, you know, when you see Lion Proclamation Media, it could be a female. So I don't want to disrespect you, but Lion Proclamation Media, I'll say it that way. Here's the name of the playlist titled Foundational Teachings. It's on this channel under playlist, right? Go to Foundational Teachings and you'll see 3 lessons on this of what we're dealing with tonight. All right. As far as going into the details that I'm not going to go into tonight, as far as with the calendars. So there it is. There's the link. And feel free to watch it. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me offline. Hope that helps. All right. So again, family, Karash knock. Right. I'm going to show you how important this phrase is. Right. Include this in your prayer life. When you're dealing with situations, Karash knock. Let me say it again. Karash knock. Let me say it one more time. Karash knock. Let me explain this here. I already explained what the word is. I gave you the definition, but let's put it in its proper perspective. Mark chapter 4, verse 39 through 40. Notice what it says. And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, peace be still. When we see he, this is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, which transliterates to the Jesus the Christ, right? So I know some of you guys don't understand ancient Hebrew. Some of you guys may not understand Hebrew at all. So, so when it says he and you hear me say Yahweh Shai, some would say Yeshua, but we're dealing with the Hebrew name. So when you see here, Hebrew, he, right? Some of you guys may say Jesus Christ, but in ancient Hebrew, it's Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, transliterates to Jesus the Christ, right? But nevertheless, he, the Messiah, arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, peace be still, right? Peace be still. Peace, right? Be quiet, still, calm down. Peace, karash, in other words, be quiet, still, settle down, stop moving. Knock. So Harash knock, and the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, who is he referring to? His disciples. Why are ye so fearful? Because guess what? They were fearful. They were all over the place. Their spirit was all over the place. How is it that ye have no faith? Now, the Hebrew word for faith is aman. It means, it transliterates to the word belief, trust, permanent, go to the right hand, confirm. And here's the key: consistency. So in the proper context here, it says, why are you so fearful? How is it that you are not consistent? See, many of us are just like the disciples. Man, the disciples is with the Messiah. The Messiah is showing him so much, showing them so much, and yet they can still be inconsistent. They can still be inconsistent. They can still be inconsistent. Guess what, family? Come on now. Israel, here it is. The Most High displayed 10 miraculous things to them and pulled them out of Egypt, and they were still inconsistent. They were still wavering with their faith. They were still wavering with their walk. They were still wavering with their trust in him. They automatically went back to the Egypt. They couldn't let go of that captive mindset, that enslaved mentality. Even today, with some of the things, how we interact with each other today, that's the stuff, that's the behaviors from slave plantations. So the Messiah had to tell his disciples, why are you afraid? Why are you fearful? Because he showed them how to deal with this stuff. He said, why you guys are fearful? How is it that you have no consistency? How come you guys are inconsistent? So think about this, family. Think about this, family. Because when situations come, we don't know how to be quiet sometimes. Sometimes we talk too much when we're dealing with situations. Sometimes we need to learn how to be quiet. There's a time to say something. There's other times where be quiet. So here we see peace, be still. Harash knock. So how important is the 7th month? Right? Because we shared that the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day. So you know that a Shabbat can be a day, a 24-hour cycle, evening from evening to evening. It can also be a week, because guess what? Israel had a week, of celebrations. We also know that the Shabbat can be a month, a month of rest. Then we also know that the Shabbat can be a year, that time to let the land, the ground rest and recover. Right? So how important is the Shabbat? Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. Notice what it says here. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, Elohim ended his work, which he had made, and he rested, Shabbat, on the 7th day from all his work, which he had made. Notice what it says, Shabbat. He rested, Shabbat. Unfortunately, you have many people, and I'm not saying all, you have many within the church, within Christianity, will fight tooth and nail to try to say things like, oh, the scripture says the Most High worked into the Shabbat. No, that's not what he did. He didn't work into the Shabbat. But on this day, he didn't do anything. It says he rested on this day, starting at evening, from evening to evening, full 24-hour cycle, he rested. Come on, family. It's simple. So as we see here, the Shabbat, right, is a tool. Why? Because we see the Shah in the Israeli language, it would be pronounced Sheen, right, which means teeth, tool. We see the Bayath in the Israeli language, Beth, and we see that it means what? Bloodline. The tha is what? Signs, proof, evidence. This right here gives you so many nuggets on how important the Shabbat is, because this is going to confirm, right? We're going to use scripture to confirm what I just pointed out here. How important that the Shabbat is a tool that is important, right, to our bloodline, our lineage, right, our heritage. And it's there not just for that, but also a proof, signs, and evidence of the promises that the Most High has made to us. On the seventh day from all work which he had made. And on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work, which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. See, you start hearing all kinds of crazy arguments like, oh, Christ said he is our rest. He is our Shabbat. Christ never said he's our Shabbat. You show me the Greek word in that passage, and I can guarantee you will not see Sabbaton. I can guarantee you. So Christ did not say he was our Shabbat. Christ was not made to be our Shabbat. Just like he said, the Shabbat was not made for, man was not made for the Shabbat. So why do we think that the Messiah was made for the Shabbat? And then say the Most High was made for the Shabbat, but the Shabbat was made for who? Us, to be what? A tool. Oh, come on, family. See, these are some of the things that many would come up to try to bend and twist. Now we get into witchcraft of obeying the law, statutes, and commandments. This commandment was there from the very beginning. Yes, Noah, all of them honored the Shabbat and knew the importance of the Shabbat. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get back into this, family. So Elohim blessed, and some of you guys would say Elohim, and Elohim blessed Barak the seventh day and sanctified it, quadashed it, because that in it he had rested from all work which Elohim created and made. So let's break down Shabbat. I broke it down for you, but let's break it down even more. It says here, desist from exertion. In other words, now you're putting a break in that monotony of what? Working. Your 9 to 5 or whatever you do. You're breaking the monotony in that, because those things are for you. But now this Shabbat is for you to rest, but not for you to just stay home. Not for you to stay home, wash your car, stay home, watch TV. No, it's more to that. Notice what this says here, the Shabbat. It says cease, but also to celebrate. Whoa, wait a minute. Why don't we hear that part? Because in the church, all you're going to hear from those that's trying to debunk the Shabbat, you don't see the word celebrate. So the Shabbat is a day of rest, but it's also a day of celebration. Who are we celebrating? Come on, family. This is pretty simple, straightforward. Desist from exertion, cease, celebrate, keep. In other words, that's where we get that word as well. Keep, when it says Adam had to dress and keep the garden, dress or till, abad, keep, shamar, right? To make, keep. In other words, just Shabbat, right? Leave, put away. This dealing with work. Put away, put down, rest. Now we see the word blessed, Barak, right? Let's see what it means. It says to kneel down, right? To kneel, to bless the Most High as an act of adoration, and vice versa. Man, as a benefit. Come on, family. It says is congratulate, kneel down, kneel down, praise, salute, thank. So guess what, family? When the Messiah was checking his disciples, encouraging them, say, guess what? If you go to a house, right, and you do what? You bless that house, right? You salute that house with your shalom, with your it as well. Some of you guys would say shalom. Guess what? If they reject it, guess what? Shake the dust off your knee, because guess what? You knelt down when you greeted a brother to bless them. Salute. In the military, you salute each other. Right? You salute. If someone gives you a salute, guess what you have to do? Return that salute. When you understand the creation, when the Most High said at the conclusion, when he got to that seventh day, right? He's can you imagine that as the sixth day was concluding, he looked at all of his creation and formation and said, it is good. At that point, Hasatan wasn't bad. At that point, there was no such thing as some fallen angels at that time. Everything was good. So you can't say Hasatan and try to come up with all kinds of gap theories trying to explain the time of the fallen angel. Come on, family. We got to go in and look at the simplicity of the text. It's that simple. All of his creation was good. There was nothing evil about his creation. Nothing evil. So now the Most High looking at his creation, right? And I'm going to use this analogy similar to some of the movies. Some of you guys have been in the military. Some of the military people are going to understand where I'm going at with this. And some of you guys have seen the shows where you see someone in basic training and you see the drill sergeant have all of them in formation and he's going right down the line inspecting each one of them. And if they are presentable, if they don't have any flaws in their uniform, strings hanging out their uniform, shoes that shine, their uniform's not wrinkled, right there. They're sharp. Guess what that drill sergeant does? He salute them to let them know that, hey, he recognized their perfection. He recognized that they're catching on to it. And what happens? That soldier returns a salute. That's what we see happening at the beginning of creation. The Most High is looking at his creation and saying, it is good, Tawab. It is good. It is good. Some of you guys will say, Tob, it is good, Tawab. He said, it is good. It is good. And he saluted. He said, I love my creation. I love how it's looking so much. I'm going to create a salute. He saluted his creation with the Shabbat. So now he expects his creation to return the salute back to him by kneeling down. Oh, man, come on, family. That's why the Messiah said again, right? If you go to a house, right, that means that they had to kneel down on one knee, right? And he says, if you salute that house, right? I mean, if you take a knee and if they reject and they don't take a knee with you, he says, get up, shake the dust off and keep it moving. Don't leave your barak with them. Don't leave your barak. You go down and they don't want to go down with you. Don't give that peace to that house. Get up, shake the dust off your feet and go to the next house that will receive you. That's what the Most High said. That's what the Messiah is saying in that text. Excuse me. He's saying, guess what? You go to that house, you go to someone, you kneel down, you get in a position, you give them a salute and they don't return your salute. Shake the dust off and keep it moving. Family, forget running behind people trying to get them to return a salute. You done saluted them and they decided that they didn't want to salute you back. Take your peace with you. Stop giving your peace to these people. That's why many of you guys are miserable, because when somebody disrespected you, what do you say? God bless you. No, when you say God bless you, you're saying the Most High approves of their actions. So you gave somebody your peace and you wonder why you sleeping and tossing and turning, because you gave your peace to someone that was corrupt, that is a liar, a thief. Take your peace with you. Anyway, family, y'all trying to make me preach up in here. I'm not trying to preach tonight. I'm trying to teach. All right. You know, Sister Carol, she trying to get me to do this. See, that's what Christ was saying to his disciples. Guess what he said? Shake the dust off and be quiet and keep it moving. And don't bring your past experience with that other house to the next house. Leave that experience at that other house. See, sometimes we get to talk too much. Oh, you know, that house next door, they rejected me. No, don't even include them in your conversation. Keep it moving. Keep it moving, family. We got to learn how to be quiet. We talk too much, family. We talk entirely too much. We don't know how to be quiet when we're dealing with different situations. We don't. All right. We're almost done here, family. We are almost done right here. We are almost done. Let me see what time it is, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But we are almost done here, fam. We've got just a little bit more to go. But I want to, before we get into our lesson tonight, our other part of the lesson, I wanted to make sure that you guys got a clear understanding of what this means here, what we're dealing with. All right. So let's go ahead and deal with a couple of more slides, and we're getting ready to wrap this up. All right. So sanctified, that's the next word. So we saw Shabbat. You learned some key words tonight. You learned the phrase Karash Nak, which means peace be still. You learned Shabbat, what Shabbat means, which means celebrate, not just rest, but celebrate. Celebrate who? The Most High, not celebrate ourselves. First day of the week all the way to the sixth day of the week is all about you working what? For yourself, doing things for yourself. But on this day is for us to celebrate the Most High. But now here's another word that we're going to deal with: sanctified, quadash. Notice what it says here. It says clean, consecrate, dedicate, hollow, right? Keep, proclaim, purify, sanctify, sanctified one, sanctified self, right? So what are we saying here, right? The Most High, when we said he consecrated this day, he dedicated this day. Now we could call this day the very first ordination service that we see. This is the very first ordination that we see in the scriptures, because the Most High ordained the Shabbat, but yet you have these anti-anointed people, right, who are trying to tell Yah's people and those that may not be blood descendant of the Most High, but want to have a relationship with the Most High, tell them that, you know what, you don't have to do that. You know what, we're going to use the first day of the week as the Shabbat. We're going to use that. That's going to be the Lord's day. No, the Messiah never told any of that. Even in his death, I can bring it up with scriptures. If you go to Galatians, guess what's right there? He never said change in his death to change the law, statutes, and commandments. That's right. Paul even wrote about that. So I could take you right into the scriptures and prove that that's completely inaccurate. Paul never taught that. I can even prove that Paul taught celebrating and honoring the feast days. But they'll say, hey, they came together on the first day of the week. And they came together more than just on the first day of the week. Just because you come together on other days doesn't mean that it takes away from the main day. Our main day of service is the Shabbat. But we come together for Bible study. We come together for the women's huddle, the men's huddle, the youth. We got all kinds of things going on. Rehearsal. Doesn't mean that changed the Shabbat. They still honored the Shabbat. They still honored the feast days. And I got proof in writing that after Paul's death is when that is the assemblies that Paul sent letters to, they decided to stop honoring those things. I can prove that. Not tonight, though, but I'm going to prove that real soon. I'm going to show a source here, a couple of sources to prove that. All right. But anyway, let's go back into this right here. Quadash. It means consecrate, dedicate. We see that word keep again. Shamar. Shamar, family. Shamar also means execute. Shamar also means execute, family. Execute. Right? In other words, do. All right. So this is the seventh letter of the Hebrew alphabet, right? Because the importance of the number 7. We see the seventh day is important. So we know that the Shabbat is a tool. It is a sign. It is proof. It is evidence. It is the day we're supposed to what? Celebrate the Most High, even though every day we can give him worship. But he said, this is the day I want you to return my salute. I saluted you on the 7th day. Return my salute on the 7th day. Not he saluted us on the 7th day, and we said we want to salute him on another day. No, he wants his salute to be returned on the 7th day. Numerical value, right? This is the Zion, right? Looks like the Z, right? This is where you get the Z from. But the Zion, right? Doesn't that look like the Z, right? So numerical value is 7. This is the pictograph of that. Looks like almost a swing blade at the tip. This would actually be a blade right here. But this is the Zion. Our Shabbat is a weapon. It is a tool. It is a reminder. It's a sign. Let me show you here. Exodus chapter 31, verse 14 through 18. Let me show you something here. Like Fire Marshal Bill, look like Joe Biden, right? Right? Fire Marshal Bill, let me tell you something. Right. But anyway, Living Color. Right. Exodus chapter 31, verse 13. Let's start at verse 13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily, my Shabbats ye shall keep. Plural, my Shabbats ye shall keep. Didn't say it's an option. This is a commandment. This is a reminder of what's in covenant in Torah. But when we see the plurality of it, now we're dealing with feast days, because he already put inside his law, statutes, and commandments, right, to keep the Shabbat. But also when we see plural, he's not just dealing with the Shabbat as far as the seventh day of the week. He's also dealing with the feast days. Do you know Israel was trying to keep the feast days while they were in Egypt? What feast day was it? Interesting, right? They were trying to get into the desert to honor feast days. Could it be that they were trying to honor the Feast of Booths? Another question, a question that make you go, look it up. Before the Passover, they were already trying to honor the feast. What feast that they were trying to honor in the desert? Anyway, look it up. That's in Exodus. Just wanted to drop a little nugget there. So speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Shabbats ye shall keep, for it is a sign, awath or ath, right? It is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahweh that doeth sanctify you. This is a sign, family. It didn't say for temporary, it says forever, ever, generations, throughout your generations, that ye may know. And the word that you see there is awalam, which means forever. It also transliterates to perpetual. It also transliterates to forever, that ye may know that I am Yahweh that doeth sanctify you. Verse 14, ye shall keep the Shabbat. Right here we see plural Shabbats, because we know that this is dealing with the feast days, plural. Now we're dealing with the seventh day Shabbat right here. Ye shall keep the Shabbat, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Shabbat rest, holy to Yahweh. It didn't say holy to man, it said holy to the Most High. He the one that sanctified it. He the one that put this salute out there. Salute him back return his salute on his day. Whosoever doeth any work in the Shabbat, he shall surely be put to death. Now, this is where grace come into play. Why? Because at this time there was immediate death for what? Not honoring the Shabbat, but not just eating immediate death. Notice what it says here. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, to observe the Shabbat throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. But notice this right here. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever, ever. In my what's his name? Chris Tucker voice from Friday. Ever. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he did what? He rested and was refreshed, right? And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony. In other words, this is the covenant. 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of Alahayim, finger of Yahweh. So how can we say that something is wrong with something that was written with the hand, the finger of the Most High? Come on, family. Somebody, like what's his name? Darby would say, talk to me. You know how he would say, talk to me. Talk to me. You know how he would say, talk to me. Talk to me. Oh, y'all don't want to know this truth. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk back to me. Come on, family. Talk back to me. Talk back to me. But Christianity will teach the foolishness of saying that the Most High, the commandments that he wrote with his own hands, they're corrupted. The covenant is corrupted. That's what they're saying, because the covenant is the 10 commandments. The 10 commandments is the covenant. But let me go back here, right? Because that's our last slide right here. Let me go back here. Let me show you something, because I mentioned about grace. Notice what it says this. Let me read this one more time. Ye shall keep the Shabbat, therefore it is holy unto you. For everyone that defileth is, I can't even say it now. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Notice this here: surely be put to death, cut off. In other words, blotted out. See, not just death, but it says also what? Blotted out. You defile it, you work on it. Guess what? You're gonna deal with death, but also you're gonna be blotted out. Achan was blotted out. What do you mean by that, family? Well, what does blotted out mean? Israel kept a roll of all the men, all the women, kept a roll. So you could go to the book of Numbers and see that right in the book of Numbers, starting at chapter 1. So guess what? Achan got his name blotted out. In other words, they took the ink or whatever they used to write on. They took that and struck it across his name so you couldn't recognize his name, not just his name, but his lineage. That's what blotted out means. Come on, Israel. All of us are born with our name inside the Lamb Book of Life. But the key is we live and strive to keep our name in it. That's the deception that the church has taught us. We're striving they taught us wrong, family. They taught us to work and do all these things so that way we can get our names listed in it. As Israelites, your name is automatically placed in there. Your goal is to keep your name written in there. That's a fact. Read Numbers, study Numbers, and you'll see every Israelite, your name is in the book of life. But the key is, are you going to keep your name in that book of life? Are you going to keep your name in the book of life? Your behaviors, your complaints, not keeping your mouth shut, doing all this backbiting and all this stuff. Guess what? You're about to have the Most High blot your name out. We are born. That's why he said he would have it that all of Israel is saved. But guess what? The only way that we will have come from under that charge right there is if we start complaining, if we start talking too much, if we start doing all these different things. We're murmuring, because murmuring simply is telling the Most High you're not moving forward anymore. You're going to stay where you are or go back to where you came from, back into your foolishness, back into the very place he did so much to pull you out of. So guess what? Again, we don't have to strive to get our names placed into the Lamb Book of Life, placed into that book of life. Why? Because we are born with our names in it. The key is keeping your name in it, so you won't end up like an Achan, having your name blotted out and your entire lineage blotted out. So family, I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you. See, family, I took my time studying Torah for years on top of years. I had to unlearn all that Christianity stuff, the layers of theologies I learned in school. I had to unlearn all of that stuff. And I don't talk about it, but guess what? My mother been practicing Judaism forever. She got the whole library of the Talmud. She got the Mishnah. She got all of that stuff. So knowing that stuff, it's not new to me. I've taken some of the ministers from our ministry to my mother's house, right? And they got to see for themselves. They were surprised because I don't share that with many. Actually, I don't share it with anybody. It's the first time I shared it with you guys. My mother been practicing Judaism. I'm not new to this. I know who I am. And I can guarantee if I brought her on here, she will speak some Hebrew. Me and her talk about it all the time, that Israeli stuff, but still, I love my mother, not going to disrespect her. I can pull some of the books that I have, some of the Mishnah and stuff that she has given me as a gift. I'm not new to this, family. I knew that I always knew that I was an Israelite, me and my family, but we grew up in the church through my grandmother. So again, family, and this is why many people, especially pastors, are going to be held accountable, because so many people, right, walked away from the Most High under that lie, that delusion, making us believe that we're not the people of the book, and that we have to strive to get our names placed into a book that was already there. And many have walked away thinking that they did not meet the mark, not even knowing that their name was already there. The Most High know each one of us by name. We're Israelites by name, by lineage, by blood. It's in the scriptures. Even though our name is not per se, our modern names are in there. But guess what? There's a prophecy about us and our names being in alignment with the ancient names. Hey, wait till I drop the road to Savannah. I'm going to drop all of that in the road to Savannah. And some of the people, special guests I'm going to have in there. Hopefully I have it done within the next week for you guys to see it. Worst case scenario, it will be out within 2 weeks. Promise you. So with that being said, family, I hope this lesson helps you. Again, get rid of that Christianity stuff, get rid of that Catholicism stuff, and know that you don't have to live to get your name put in something that's already rightfully yours. The Most High know who belongs to him. Just like the Messiah made it clear, my sheep know my voice and answer to another. The Most High know who Israel is. The Messiah know who Israel is. He know each one of us by name. And guess what? Even for those that are struggling with your DNA, trying to figure out your DNA, that delusion that's been added to it, don't get caught up in all this foolishness, because Joel chapter 3, the Most High made it clear that he's going to cleanse the blood of his people. He's going to do a blood transfusion on each and every one of us. I'm telling you, family, this is why when we get back to having that rest and we start learning how to say Karash knock, you'll be able to speak with the authority, because you know who you are. You know what the promises that the Most High has said. So don't get caught up with this foolishness of those that don't know about a technology that they're trying to teach on DNA. Don't get caught up in it. Oh, this is what your haplogroup is. This is what your haplotype is. And I can literally shatter all of that stuff with sources. Don't get caught up in that stuff. Use it as a tool, because I use it as a tool for anytime somebody wants to say that I'm not the people of the book. Where's your DNA? Here's the DNA. It says that I'm people of the book. Leave it alone. Boom. Keep it moving. I'm not into all of that stuff. The Most High already made it clear. I already know who I am from birth. I don't need no DNA test. I don't need none of that, because it's in my heritage. It's my lineage. I don't need the mark of man. I don't need the system of man to try to tell me who I am. I know who I am, and know who you are, family. Know who you are. Stop trying to validate yourself to these systems. Your name is already in that book of life. Just keep it there. Don't let these people distract you to pull you out of the way. See, they're not in the way. You're in the way, but they're trying to get in your way to prevent you from staying in the way. Oh, I know that's a play of words, but you make sure you stay followers of the way, like Apostle Paul was a follower of the way. He didn't say he was a Christian. He didn't say he was in Christianity. Anyway, you know who you are. With that being said, family, and I appreciate the love and support tonight. Thank you, Sister Light to the nations. Really appreciate you for the love and support. And family, let's show light to the nation. Sister Light to the nation. Let's show us some love. And family, apologize for some of the distractions here, because you try to, answer questions and be, try to be understanding to people really wanting to learn. But you have some people that just ask questions, you give them an answer, and they want to keep running with something. And before you know it, they start trying to insult you. So their questions were never to try to come in and have an answer or a true discussion. They would come in to want to cause confusion. And we're not dealing with that tonight. Homie, don't play that. With that being said, family, appreciate you. Remember what we just taught tonight, Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14. Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. You see these Egyptians today that you see here today, you will never have to deal with them ever again. The Most High will fight for you, but you have to hold your peace. The Hebrew word that's in that text is Karash, which simply means be quiet. And I'm going to use the full phrase that you guys have learned tonight. Karash knock, which means peace, be still. Charash, be quiet. Knock, calm down. Calm your spirit. Charash, knock. Be quiet. Can't go back. Can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was the... Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter